Some of you guys are the most creative storytellers out there, and now you're thinking about taking this skill set and going full time with it. But as you'll soon find out, creativity and business sometimes are hard to coexist. And today we're going to talk about starting a video business from nothing. So whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned veteran, hopefully there's something in here for you. Let's get into it. In 2018, I started my video business in my basement. I mean, there I was, passionate, eager to tell stories with really cool videos, and anyone who was willing to pay me was my client. I knew nothing about business, I knew nothing about really branding or marketing or anything of the above, but I wanted to make videos. And I feel like that's how a lot of us start out. But over time, I realized that if I wanted to keep the creative vision alive, I had to learn how to run a successful video business. So what are some key takeaways, or what are some things that we can do to keep a successful video business going, or to start from absolutely nothing? The first thing that you want to do to run a successful video business is to identify who you are. Identify your values, what makes you get up in the morning. Then you want to jump into building your personal brand. Obviously identify a logo and some font types and build that. Tell people online and they will get this idea, this sort of proclamation, if you will, that you are this type of person and that anytime they hire you, this is what they're gonna get. But if you're not saying anything or talking or having any sort of chatter or posting anything online, people don't know anything about you. Then clarify your visual style. Are you raw and gritty, or are you more polished and clean, or somewhere in between? You need to identify your visual style because then other people will hire you for what you're passionate about. So clarify that up front by making passion projects that identify with that similar visual tone. What people want to see is what you're passionate about. So if it makes you come to life, then that is your visual tone. So as we're identifying who we are, we're creating a brand, we're developing that visual tone, then you want to stick with a niche. Because this goes to my next point, you're going to be building lasting relationships with people. So that anytime a customer or a potential client is looking for the best extreme sport filmmaker out there who does skiing off the cliffs of mountains or whatever, they know you do that because that's your niche. Or maybe you do something else more specific. Like for instance, I just did something on pottery and ceramics. And maybe that was my niche and I was just making ceramics films. I would get that type of customer because those are the types of videos that I'm making. So you need to build lasting relationships. Depending on the client and how much they're paying you, you could have 10 clients a year and basically survive off of that. And these clients don't really know a lot of other videographers. They don't know a lot of other filmmakers. So if their relationship and their time with you was really good and they like the product, they like working with you, you delivered it on time, then they're gonna wanna work with you again. The next thing I would say is to develop good business skills. In order to do that, take a course, take a class, read some books, but I'd recommend understand the fundamentals of business. That business is basically just an exchange of value. So if you want to solve $1 million problem, you've got to bring $1 million solution. Take that metaphor and apply it to your video business. If you want to charge a certain rate for your day or your time or the product that you're delivering, make sure that the client is getting an equal exchange of value, if not more, to make an investment back in their business. In order to do that, you want to outline how this video or a series of videos is going to help take their business to the next level, building brand awareness, creating customer engagement, identifying their values. There's tons of ways that video can add value to a local business, but sometimes they don't know that. And until you reveal that, then they're in the dark and they're not going to hire you. So make sure you reveal value up front. The more valuable you are, the higher you can charge your rates. The next thing I would say is to take creative risks and make responsible investments. So just recently, I made a short film called Unprofessional. I could have invested $5,000 or $10,000, but to me, that would have been an irresponsible investment. Because at the time, you've got to weigh the pros and the cons and what you feel like you can get a return on this. So $1,500 was something I could swallow. That is a creative risk, but it's also a responsible investment. It's interesting because there's people on both ends of the spectrum. People who are willing to take the risk, but are also a little impulsive. And then there's those on the other side that are way overly responsible and never take any risk at all. You want to find a sweet spot, and only you can decide that because you're the business owner. So if you're taking good risks, making responsible investments, but you also want to be invaluable, know how to tell good stories. The more you work on being a better storyteller, the more you're gonna separate yourself from the competition, and the easier it is going to be for the client to say yes to you and no to somebody else, because you know how to tell better stories. Another thing is to take care of your clients. From the pre-production all the way to delivery, that you're keeping them informed, keeping them up to date, and you're telling them where you are in the process. The last thing I would say to have a successful video business is to innovate and have a long-term strategy. A business will die and fail if it's always thinking about the past. You've got to be thinking about the future, how you're going to innovate, how you're going to improve upon what you did in the past. One tip is to have a weekly, monthly, and quarterly meeting. You say, meet with who? It's just me. Well, meet with yourself. Have a brainstorming, blue sky meeting where you say, okay, where can we work in the business to improve? What are our weaknesses? How can we make things better? How can we improve on our marketing? How can we improve on our onboarding process? Are we good with our rates, our contracts, our agreements, our communication with clients? How's our delivery process? How's the actual product doing? Where are we and how can we make it better? So with all these things put together, there is a lot to work on. But if you apply some of these principles, you can start a video business from nothing and make it successful. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.